There are two families, living on opposite sides of the world. One wakes up in a quiet neighborhood outside Kyoto. The other, in a busy American suburb where mornings begin with alarms, coffee, and a rush to get everyone out the door. By 8 a.m., both homes look perfectly normal. The beds are made. The kitchen has been used. Shoes have crossed the floor. Breakfast is over. But if scientists could make the invisible visible, one of these homes would already be carrying thousands of tiny passengers the family never invited inside. Dust from parking lots. Bacteria from public restrooms. Pollen, road chemicals, pet waste, and microscopic particles picked up from sidewalks, now quietly spreading across the same floor where children play, where socks become bare feet, and where yesterday's clean surface slowly becomes today's contamination. Here's the strange part. The Japanese family didn't spend their morning cleaning. They didn't disinfect every room. They didn't scrub the floor before sunrise. In fact, they'll probably spend less time cleaning this week than the average American household. So why does their home stay cleaner? The answer isn't better cleaning. It's fewer opportunities for dirt to enter in the first place. That's a completely different way of thinking. In much of the West, cleaning begins after something gets dirty. In Japan, cleaning begins long before that moment ever arrives. It's a quiet philosophy that has shaped Japanese homes for generations. Not through expensive products or complicated routines, but through small decisions that most people barely notice. And once you see them, it's surprisingly difficult to unsee them. Today, we'll explore 8 everyday habits that make Japanese homes stay cleaner with less effort, and the Western habits that quietly work against us. Some of these mistakes happen the second we walk through our front door. Others happen in the kitchen, the bathroom, or even with objects we carry every single day. None of them seem important on their own. But together, they completely change the environment you live in. And before we begin, there's one idea worth understanding. People often assume Japanese homes stay clean because Japanese people simply clean more. Research suggests something more interesting. Behavioral scientists have long known that the easiest behavior is usually the one your environment encourages. In other words, a tidy home is often the result of smart systems, not stronger willpower. Japanese homes are quietly designed to prevent mess before it starts. Western homes often ask people to clean up after it happens. That one difference changes everything. Let's start with the first mistake. It's so ordinary, millions of Americans do it every single day without thinking. And yet, the moment it happens, the outside world quietly walks straight into the living room. The first step inside your home shouldn't be cleaning. It should be stopping dirt at the door. In Japan, that invisible line has a name, Genkan. It's the small entryway where outdoor shoes come off before anyone steps into the living space. To many visitors, it seems like nothing more than tradition. But scientists would call it one of the simplest forms of contamination control. Think about everywhere your shoes travel in a single day. Parking lots coated with motor oil. Public restrooms. Grocery store aisles. Gas stations. Sidewalks where hundreds of people, and animals, have walked before you. A study from the University of Arizona found that shoes can carry hundreds of thousands of bacteria, along with pesticides, heavy metals, and chemical residues. Every step inside transfers a little of that invisible world onto your floors. Now imagine a toddler crawling across that same floor, or your dog lying there before jumping onto the couch. The floor isn't just a floor anymore. It's the first surface that connects everything else inside your home. Japanese homes don't try to clean this contamination later. They simply stop most of it from entering. A pair of indoor slippers. A small shoe rack. One tiny habit. That's often enough. The second mistake doesn't happen on your floor. It happens in your kitchen. Picture this. You come home with grocery bags. Without thinking, you place them on the kitchen counter. The same counter where you'll prepare tonight's dinner. It feels harmless. After all, the bags look clean. But where were they 5 minutes ago? Inside a shopping cart. On a supermarket conveyor belt. In the trunk of a car. Sometimes even on the ground. Every surface leaves behind something invisible. Japanese households often keep groceries near the entrance first, unpacking them before they ever reach food preparation areas. It's not about fear. It's about creating small boundaries. The cleaner zones stay clean because outside objects don't automatically become inside objects. The third mistake is one almost nobody notices. Your phone. It follows you everywhere. The office. The restaurant table. The gym. The bathroom. Then, it lands on your dining table while you eat. Or your kitchen counter while you cook. Researchers have repeatedly found that smartphones can carry more microbes than many everyday household surfaces. Yet most people sanitize the counter and ignore the object touching it dozens of times a day. In many Japanese homes, there's an unspoken awareness that some objects belong to the outside world, even after they come indoors. Not everything needs to touch every surface. That simple awareness quietly reduces contamination without anyone feeling like they're constantly cleaning. And that's the pattern you'll keep seeing. Japanese homes aren't cleaner because people work harder. They're cleaner because fewer problems are created in the first place. But the next habit might surprise you the most. Because it involves something almost every family does after dinner, believing they're making the house cleaner, when they're often doing exactly the opposite. The fourth mistake usually happens at the very end of the day. The kitchen is spotless. The dishes are done. The counters shine. Then someone reaches for the same sponge that's been sitting beside the sink all week, and gives everything one final wipe. It feels clean. But a damp sponge is one of the friendliest environments for bacteria to multiply. Moisture, food particles, and warmth create the perfect conditions for microscopic life to grow long after dinner is over. Many Japanese households avoid leaving sponges constantly wet. They rinse them thoroughly, squeeze out as much water as possible, and let them dry completely. Some even rotate them frequently instead of trying to use one for weeks. Again, the goal isn't perfection. It's removing the conditions that allow problems to grow. The fifth mistake is even quieter. We own far more than our homes were designed to hold. Extra clothes. And used gadgets. Decorations we stopped noticing years ago. Every object becomes another surface collecting dust, another thing that eventually needs attention. Japanese design has long embraced the idea of kanso, simplicity. Not because owning less is fashionable. Because fewer unnecessary objects make a home naturally easier to care for. When there is less to clean, cleaning asks for less of your life. And that's the hidden lesson behind everything we've explored today. Japanese homes don't stay cleaner because people spend every weekend scrubbing floors. They stay cleaner because dozens of tiny decisions quietly prevent dirt, clutter, and contamination from taking over in the first place. Shoes stay at the entrance. Outside objects don't automatically belong on kitchen counters. Phones aren't treated like clean objects. Cleaning tools are kept clean themselves. And unnecessary clutter never gets the chance to become tomorrow's dust. None of these habits require expensive products. None require more willpower. Most take less than a minute. But repeated every day, they completely change how a home feels. Maybe that's the biggest difference of all. The cleanest homes aren't created by dramatic weekend cleaning sessions. They're created by small daily boundaries that nobody notices, until they're gone. So tonight, don't try to change all 8 habits. Choose just one. Leave your shoes by the door. Wipe your phone before dinner. Replace an old sponge. Clear one crowded shelf. One small change is enough to begin. Because a cleaner home isn't built in a single afternoon. It's built one quiet habit at a time. If one of these habits made you stop and think, let us know in the comments, which one surprised you the most. And if this gave you a completely new way of looking at your home, share it with someone who believes cleaning always has to mean working harder.